Hey guys, welcome back to Sunday School. So last week we talked about the church and how they're our family. They help us to follow Jesus even when it's hard and sometimes we feel like giving up, which is true of all of us once in a while. And the church helps us, encourages us, and acts as our brothers and sisters as we're all children of God. Now, I have a question. If the church is your family, can you imagine living in a house with all of those people? That would be pretty crazy, right? I know that right now, while we're stuck inside, it feels like your house is getting smaller every day. At least for me. Sometimes I feel like I'm just going to go stir crazy and the house is just too tiny. So that's why I'm sitting right here. I'm sitting at a place in my house where I feel extra calm and extra happy. So what I want you to do right now is close your eyes and think of a place in your house where you feel extra calm and extra happy. Think for a minute about what it feels like to be there, okay? I think it's really good for us to have a special place in our house where we feel extra good. So in your packet, there's a story about this. It's called A Room of My Own. Pause the video and read the story. When I first had my own room, it was awesome. I got to paint it, I got to decorate it. But the best part was that it was my own space, right? I got to be there by myself, or I got to have people come in and hang out. Whatever I wanted, it was my space. You might not have your own room, and that's fine, but you probably have your own bed, your own place to put your clothes, your own place to put your toys. And that's really great because that means that you live in that house, right? You have a bed in your house because you live there and it's your home. And so you are part of the family that belongs in that home. So Jesus told his disciples a very interesting thing I'm going to tell you about. He said that he was going to prepare a place for them in his Father's house. Now, Jesus' Father is God, and God is also our Father. Remember, we're all part of the same family, and God is our Father. Jesus says that in God's house, there are many rooms. Jesus says that he is making a place for us in our big, giant, enormous house where God is the Father. There's a room for you, and there's a room for me, because God is our Father, and Jesus is making a place where we will feel happy, where we will feel safe, where we will feel calm, where we will feel at home. So I wonder, what would you like your room to look like in God's house? Find the activity sheet in your packet called My Heavenly Room in 3D. Pause the video and make your own little room. Do you remember Thomas from our first video? Thomas was Jesus' friend who needed help to believe in Jesus, remember? Jesus told his friends about God's house, and Thomas said, "How will we know the way to get there?" It's a pretty reasonable question, right? We can't see God's house, and Jesus was going up into heaven to see God, to see his Father, and Thomas wondered, how will we know how to follow you to this house that you're preparing for us? And Jesus said something that I want you to remember. This is what I want you to remember this week. Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." Jesus is God, and Jesus is the one who came down to earth to make us friends of God. We get to be friends of God because Jesus came down and became human like us. When we follow Jesus, we follow the way to God. When we believe in Jesus, we believe the truth about God. When we live for Jesus, we live the life for God. So Jesus is how we know who God is and what God is like. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. So after this video, I would like you to go to the place that you thought of earlier, the place in your house where you feel most safe and happy. I want you to go there and I want you to close your eyes and tell Jesus what you like about him and ask Jesus for what you need today, okay? Go to your place and talk to Jesus for a little bit. Peace be with you. I'll see you next week.